May the 4th be with you, everyone. Welcome back to BrickVault. It's Star Wars Day today, and to celebrate, we are discounting our whole online store, BrickVault.toys. Everything in the shop is 35% off. Insane discount, so make sure to check out the store with the link in the description below or on BrickVault.toys. Also, we have some cool stuff planned for the sale, including some pretty exciting releases, so make sure to check back regularly to not miss it. Today we're starting off strong with this absolute banger of a build, something a lot of you guys have requested over and over again, and a build that is again way too large for my review setup, which is kind of a meme at this point. This is the Minifig scale UCCS, so Ultimate Custom Collector Series Bo-Katan's Comrade class Mandalorian Gauntlet Starfighter. I have to say, probably one of the most beautiful Star Wars ship designs that we have first seen in live action in The Mandalorian Season 3, but it's no stranger to Clone Wars fans because a slightly different version was owned by Pre Vizsla, the leader of the Death Watch. But we also see this ship briefly in the new Maul Shadow Lord series. It's a slightly different version there too though. This ship generally has so many versions, it's kind of confusing. This version in front of us is the one owned by Bo-Katan. This beautiful looking model was designed by IcarusBuilds, who also designed our J1 proton cannon and the AV7 anti-vehicle cannon for BrickVault. Now they're back with this absolute heater of a build with 7,788 parts including the stand. On the stand the model is 63 cm tall or 25 inches, 74 cm long or 29 inches, and about 40 cm deep or 15.5 inches. Here's an orange for size reference. On Bricklink, the parts will cost you roughly 650 USD for the ship itself and another 50 for the stand. Actually not bad considering the almost 8,000 combined parts count. Better price per part than most LEGO sets recently actually. On the stand, this model has quite some visual presence. It's huge, and how it's leaning towards one side, it really reminds me of the Efferman stand for the UCS Millennium Falcon. This is the perfect display for this thing. You can see all details on the surface, it's easy to get to the interior space that we will come to later, and you can get a very easy look at the backside as well, where we also technically have a bit of interior too. The design language here is clear. It has some really advanced snot work, which means studs not on top. That basically means there are a lot of smooth areas here, especially in the middle where my favorite technique is used. There are panel pieces here to hide gaps and intentionally remove studs, but this model isn't afraid to show studs as well. This almost makes this feel even more impressive because you can still recognize it's a huge LEGO build at the first glance. This is a super busy looking ship in universe, it's not smooth or flat all throughout, so seeing studs here and generally surface imperfections and greebling just makes sense and feels right. Good balance between smooth and studded. There are some greeble details in the middle here. I love Star Wars ships for its balance between design and technical components. The cockpit is one of the better parts usages I have ever seen. If you didn't notice, this is actually a cockpit piece from LEGO airplane sets that gets built into the model. This is the absolute perfect piece here, captures the look perfectly, and the shape of the windscreen itself looks super badass. Behind the cockpit, the model makes good use of some curved slopes and all the new rounded parts on the wings connection. I love the curvature created here. You can see there's also this small venting detail built into here. The wings themselves are another highlight of this model. They are absolutely huge and surprisingly sturdy. It again makes good use of snot work, especially in the grey area. There are detailed bricks in here too, and some jumper plates have been reversed on here for details. There are even some inserted in here that peek out a bit. Also, what makes this ship look so cool is the color scheme with the patches of sand blue. Absolutely beautiful. In the back we have some curved sub-assemblies coming together nicely in the middle, and the engine assemblies are also really cool to look at. This is probably a section that would look so dang cool with lights put in here. I like the use of tire pieces in the bigger engines. On the underside the detail doesn't stop. The wings are practically mirrored, so all the details you can see on the top are also on the bottom. No anti-studs to fear here. The bottom is covered up all the way with plates and tiles, and some of these actually open up to reveal the first kind of interior section. Both of these flaps open up but with the stand in the way here we can just open up one side, enough to show you that there are a lot of seats implemented here. I think technically it's possible to put minifigs on here, there should be enough space, but it's really difficult to do with a limited space for your hands. Still, I like the inclusion of this area in particular. On the inside are even a few transparent red parts for detail that are impossible to show you guys on video right now. Surprisingly, the stand is only connected with 4 studs, and remember, the ship has 7,300 parts, so it has quite some weight to it. The more surprising it is that it's so super sturdy on the stand. It perfectly rests on it like that. You can wiggle it, push it, even shake it a little, it won't come off. Some crazy math here for sure. The connections on the stand can be reversed, so you can also display the ship facing towards the other side, which is a nice touch. The model rests on it without the wings bowing under their own weight, which is a feat on its own at this scale, but the lower wing gets wedged in at the bottom of the stand, so it holds this position. Generally though, the wings are extremely sturdy and it's basically impossible for them to detach from the model. The wings can rotate up to put the whole ship in landed position. In universe, it's technically also possible to rotate the wings around the cockpit, but we almost never see this in the show, and it would mean a logistical and mechanical nightmare, especially for sturdiness at this scale, so it's not possible here, but it would be so extremely difficult to do for one person anyways. But let's first put the landing gear on the ship before we remove the model from the stand. There's a hatch on the bottom of the ship that opens up and reveals a dedicated space for this piece of landing gear to slide in and connect. Then on the engines there are some flaps that need aligning for landing position. This is basically where it stands on, and then it can be taken off the stand. If you build it, you know where to hold it best, but generally of course don't hold it at its extremities, basically anywhere else is fine though. So I just pick it up with one hand and remove the stand with the other. This is the first time I did this actually, so you can see how easy it is even doing it for the first time. The wings just fold up like this, they are connected to one another, and just like that, it's landed. This should be a very familiar sight for fans of the show. We see this landed like this a few times. It's so badass looking like this. I'd say almost even as displayable as the main display method on the stand. So cool. In landed position with the wings up, this is 71 centimeters tall or 28 inches, 66 centimeters long or 26 inches, and 72 centimeters wide or 28.3 inches. Like this, we can also appreciate the greebling details on the sides, which have also been done very nicely. A lot of depth to those details, which is always nice to see. Before we take a look at the cockpit interior, let's see how people would enter this ship. In the back is a foldable ramp with studs on it to display minifigs on. Really cool, although it doesn't go anywhere because there's the Technic skeleton in the way. But a very nice thing, especially for Mandalore MOCS to display on regardless. Now, before we can remove the cockpit, we first have to remove this little sub-assembly in the front, and that reveals the full cockpit. Now it should be obvious for anyone what this piece is. It's connected with a couple of studs and can be removed very easily. On the inside we have space for 2 seated minifigs, as well as space for one standing up. There's a simulated door in the back with a number pad next to it. I would think this could lead to an elevator to the lower level that we saw earlier, or a hallway to the exit of the ship. There are quite a few very common printed control consoles in here too. Not a whole lot of interior, but basically all it needs, and you can close it up with a minifig standing upright. If you turn up the brightness, you can see the Mandalorian helmet through the windscreen. Probably also a good spot to put lights in and have the windscreen glow. In the landed position you have to be a little more careful to move it around because the wings can come back down and some parts can come off at the engines when that happens. I would also not recommend sliding the ship around on a table, always pick it up from underneath. It's super easy to do. You can see I can even balance it on one hand. You don't have to fear anything because the whole model feels really solid and even survived 2 car drives. It's super swooshable for its size and the handling is really intuitive. The wingtips can come off if you bump it into a wall or so. Some of the smaller sub-assemblies on the curved area around the cockpit aren't connected super well too, but that's basically it. I found this to be surprisingly sturdy and swooshable. The wings not breaking under their own weight, especially if you fly the ship around, is impressive. Yeah, they do bend if you hold the ship in your hands, but nothing is coming off here at all. Generally, this ticks all the boxes. The display value of this thing is off the charts. The stand also helps it be more user-friendly by minimizing the depth of the surface area, so this can actually fit in a shelf. That's what I'm gonna do. If you want to display this in your shelf as well and make all your friends jealous, you can find the building instructions on BrickVault.toys or via the link in the video description. All instructions on BrickVault are 35% off, including this one, so be quick and get them at this heavy discounted price before it's too late. Thanks for watching everyone. If you watched until now, may your sleeves never get wet while washing hands. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this exclusive look at one of the coolest Star Wars creations I have seen recently, and subscribe to not miss out on any future videos, especially during May with so much cool stuff coming. And I'll catch you guys in the next one at BrickVault.